Welcome back, everybody, to the desk here at the PCC, the Prime Championship Circuit. My name is Ardog with the Triple G, and I'm with Grady and Mugiwawa, our amazing desk analysts. We just finished watching Game 1 between Dirty Lake and the boys versus the Professors, with DLAB coming out on top, winning that first game. This is just the semifinals. We just finished literally the first game of the day. But we gotta talk about one of the heroes that was able to provide so much sustain and heal for their team, the Narbash. Mugi, take it away.
Well, as we can see, Narbash not as proficient as some other picks because only 29 games, a 33% pick rate with sometime a ban rate, but it's only on the second phase of the ban most of the time. 54% win rate is kind of like average in a sense, but I think it kind of comes down to Narbash. Like one of the big weaknesses of Narbash is normally when you pick it, you kind of sacrifice your lane pressure on the dual lane that can translate in early objective for the enemy team, this type of stuff. But here we have seen on the side of Rochelle and the boys, they kind of got around the problem by just applying jungle pressure on that lane. And it's true that Narbash, true, in the situation in the lane itself is not great, but if he can actually like set up very strong ganks thanks to the March and the Thunk, and then you have an amazing healing machine for team fight, an amazing mobility machine for like moving around the map, and also you heal creeps, which means for siege, it's actually insane.
And it was insane, and we saw how Toasty was able to apply that in game number 1. Not to mention, though, Grady, talk to us about how there was a lack of anti-heal and how that kind of applies to the game.
Holy man. Professors in your first 2 items versus a Narbash. If you're looking to take those 5v5 objective fights, please buy anti-heal. As you can see, with 46% of the time Narbash is losing, I guarantee the enemy team that's beating Narbash has anti-heal in their builds. Please, everybody that's watching, don't fight Narbash if you don't have anti-heal. I'm begging on my hands and knees. That's all.
He is on his hands and knees, guys. But now we gotta go into this draft. Game number 2. There's a lot at stake for the Professors here, Mugi. What do you want? Because we have Professors with their first pick. What do you want for their first ban?
Well, I don't know. If like picking the Sevrog didn't work and they really don't want Lober on it, that could be an option to be a ban. But that means that leave the phase open, and Toasty is also super proficient on the phase. Like in a sense, from like how Dirty Lake and the boys have been dominating that first match, they're kind of in a pick your poison situation. And I feel like they need to kind of change things up a little bit, because otherwise, like Dirty Lake and the boys seems to have them figured out, at least from that first game. And so like this Rictor pick in support, I don't expect to see it again on the side of Professors, because the strategy was ready for them. And we're gonna stick to their guns with the phase ban, so they still like, that's what Professors believe, that phase is horrible to play into. It's super strong also in the current meta. And here we're gonna ban the Zarus because this time Dirty Lake and the boys is not first pick. And like Grati mentioned, how both teams like really like that character, and it is important to prioritize them. And so here Dirty Lake and the boys decided to simply like remove it. So maybe we're gonna see the Argus. We know that Professors love Argus support, Argus mid, but also Argus carry. Sometimes Crazy Fool go for the Argus carry. I don't know if they will try to pull that off against a team as strong as Dirty Lake and the boys, but that's a possibility on the table.
So as Mugi mentioned, that Zarus ban, very important for Professors because their jungle and their offlaner highly prioritize that character, and they don't like to play Kwang. But we see Argus being logged in. Argus was an absolute menace for the Professors last game, and we know that Reaper and Crazy Fool both really like to play Argus, so very strong first pick coming out of the Professors. DLAB have a lot of things open for them. We actually didn't see a pick or ban on Belka last game. Neither teams are looking for that, but we do see DLAB taking the Gideon away from Professors. Soul Reaper wasn't able to make much happen, but we've all seen it. We do know that Soul Reaper is a menace on that Gideon. So very strong pick for Appy Picker on the side of DLAB. Toasty getting the Narbash run back. He probably thinks that the professors once again are probably not going to buy anti-heal in their first 2 items, so that's going to be a very big impact on those green heals going out in these early to mid team fights. Kalari not banned away this time, so Kalari getting locked in 4-6 on the side of professors. Very comfortable, probably the strongest Kalari player in all of the PCC as it stands right now. Steel being locked in as well. That could be flexed to Crazy Pool, but I'm guessing that this is probably going to go into the hands of Nitro in the offlane.
And here we see, like we said, Sevrog being secured for Lauber. So this time we're gonna see like Lauber on the Sevrog. Overall, I already like much better what Professor is drafting to be able to deal with a Narbash, because what you need against a Narbash is the ability to one-shot people before they get healed. And the previous comp of Professors was a lot of sustained damage, like the Chimera, the Gideon, all those things. But here we have Kalari Argus, so I already like their chance much better here to be able to deal with that Narbash. We go for the Quang ban. I guess we don't want the possibility of shifting the Sevrog into jungle and getting Lauber on the Quang, and then you have to fight through a Sevrog, a Quang, and an Narbash. That would be like probably like pretty tough, very tanky lineup. Kind of nullifying this idea of that Kalari be able to one-shot people. And once again, Tortilek and the boys going for the Serat ban. They don't want to play into the Nitro Serat, and they're gonna run down against the Kira. And that's very interesting because this time the Drongo is still up. But they said like our Narbash Kira lane was absolutely godly previous game, and Professors, if you want Survivor on your Drongo, well, go ahead. We destroyed you previous game, so we're not scared of it.
DLAB comp looking very scary with the addition of that Kira. Like Mugiwara said, Lakinator doing absolute work on it, so very nice to run back. Faye being locked in on the side of Professor, so now we see that this Argus is going into the hands of Crazy Fool in the support role. Very interesting to see. We haven't seen much of the Argus support so far, mainly going into the mid lane, and we have Faye Wraith rounding up the comp of Professors. So we have a lot here. We have a lot of burst, but we also have some good sustain damage from the Argus and the Faye. So both invis characters, both camouflage characters being locked in for the Professors. Very tricky comp, very squishy comp, but that's a lot of damage. Narbash does not like too much damage, so we'll see how DLAB is able to play through these team fights. Very interested to see. Oh, and the final pick for DLAB is going to be Crunch, and that is probably going into the jungle on North.
And that is our draft. Mugi, this is a different duo matchup. What can you tell us about Argus and Wraith versus the Kira and the Narbash?
Well, here both Argus and Rez has better lane control, but they also have a lot of possibility to just like poke you like crazy, but also one-shot you immediately as soon as they get like their level 6. And also I feel like they're more safer because we don't have to step forward as the Richter was, so you can like just poke at a very long distance through the Dren Nova and the Knock Knock Peekaboo combo. So I feel like they have a lot more chance on the side of Professors to be able to go through that laning phase without getting too impacted by the potential of North arriving in that dual lane.
And we also mentioned that there's a lot at stake here for the Professors, because if they lose game number 2, they are eliminated. This is a best of 3. So Grady, what is the strategy behind this team comp that the Professors have set?
Well, the Professors don't have a lot in terms of frontline, but they do make up for it in damage. So if they do manage to get an early lead, whether it be in mid or in duo lane, they're going to be very difficult to deal with on the side of DLAB. So I need to see this duo lane get ahead. I don't care too much about this Steel getting ahead. He already has a favorable matchup versus the Sevrog. I need our mid laner getting ahead, and I need our duo lane getting ahead on the side of Professors if we're going to pull this one out.
And that's the question we'll have to ask, because who's going to be able to pull out better and who's going to be able to come out on top and reach the grand finals? Is it going to be the Professors, or is it going to be Dirty Lake and the boys? Get your predictions in. I hope you have your snacks and your drinks ready, because we are sending it to Spooky Mars and F6 to show us game number 2.
Well, we're going to see a game number 2. I think the Professors in DLAB are going to have some stuff to show us here. I mean, it's like the desk said, F6. Everything is on the line here now for the Professors. And I personally cannot recall the last time they have been in this kind of situation. I mean, we're seeing the Comfort Polari pick come out for 6. We're seeing some interesting things come out on this dual lane, the Argus support. I mean, there's so much going on here. Professors are well aware of their situation. The question is, do they have the tools now to deal with it?
I think they do have those tools here, Spooky. I mean, the last time they've been in this position was in PCC 6. They were unable to move themselves past the semis. They had a great run getting there, and this is another time. But this is the time where the Professors need to get their heads back into the game. They are on a little bit more of their comfort picks. We know that 6 is on that Kalari. We have Argus on top of Crazy Fool. This is also another character he likes to play. And if they're able to play their game here and not allow Dirty Lake and the boys to get the advantage like they did last time, build the anti-heal that they need this time, I think we're going to see a different game number 2.
Anti-heal is the name of the game here. I want to take a little look at this dual lane, right? It's been a conversation, or a topic of much conversation, I should say. This Argus support, how do you feel that plays into this match as a whole? How does it facilitate this Wraith, and what does the matchup look like against this Kira Narback?
I mean, the whole entire goal of that Argus and Wraith dual lane is to absolutely blow up anybody that contests you. If you're able to hit that Dreadnought and just be able to get that stun off, you're supposed to be taking them out. And Wraith is one of the best heroes to be able to just capitalize on the damage and the burst damage he's allowed to do, because he's essentially a mage being able to play on the ADC role.
And the question is, how many times are they going to get that opportunity, right? Because Toasty and Lakeinator, they were in a pressured lane last time. This same exact lane for them, in fact. But Lakeinator was undying last game. Toasty died, I think, 1 time, maybe twice throughout the entirety of the match. And so even with all this pressure, you have to wonder how many opportunities they're actually going to have to take advantage of this team composition and try to push that lead. We saw rotations from 6 come out that weren't able to push them ahead. Now with Happy Picker moving forward with North, looking at the CC chain, forces the blink out of Soul Reaper. That's going to keep him alive. The 6 steals away the jungle buff. Now maybe North in a bad spot, has to pull back half health. And regroup with his mid lane or he'll be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's just great play there, almost just to be able to catch the Faye out. They were able to burn the blink, and Faye without a blink early on in the game is just an easy target, especially with the mobility coming out of that crunch and the Gideon. So we're going to have to pay a little bit of extra attention in the next 5 minutes for that mid lane, because that's easy pickings. But back over to that duo lane, I mean, they're going to be able to hit that a lot more, right? Because they're going to be able to stop that crunch from really aggressing onto them in that lane. In the last game of game number 1, they had the Zarus. He was just able to just punish the Richter if he missed his hook and close that distance. And once level 6 hit with that Zarus, he was able to close down with the Colosseum. It's going to be a little bit different with North on the crunch. They should have a little bit more of the tools to be able to stop him from getting the aggression in that dual lane.
Let's see how that one plays out. We've already seen some presence from the junglers on both sides of the map. But we haven't seen the success we saw in game number 1, right? 3 minutes in game 1, we had 2 kills on board. Now 4 minutes in, almost find an opportunity to put 1 on the board for the Professors. But Lakeinator able to take a step back. He's okay for now. That dash does serve this Kira very nicely in this matchup. You have to wonder where the target point is for these teams. For 6, it may be this duo side. But Soul Reaper is still Soul Reaper. And we may yet see some rotations over to that right side as 6 looks for a flank.
I mean, it's just going to be nasty here because you see 6 doing one of his technical things. I think they see him on the ward, so they're kind of being careful. So you're seeing that being played out there. DLAB being able to place that ward, understanding what 6 likes to do on the Kalari. And just being able to get that out just allows him to be safe in lane. And that's what he's going to be trying to do the entire time.
Yeah, I got to tell you, DLAB, better than me. I am such a greeter for farm. I would have been up there saying, 6 won't kill me. 6 would have killed me. But for D-Lab's credit, they're okay for now. Happy Picker looking to get aggressive. Doesn't quite find the combo. Takes more damage than he's able to dish out on that one. And so the game remains quiet. I feel like that favors the Professors.
just a little bit, right? But at the same time, Six needs to get himself into this early game. He's playing an assassin. They need to get these kills because when it gets a little bit later into the game, they don't have as many big bodies and the potential to get into these pits and to potential to get into these nice little cornered fights and fight front to back. And yes, they do have the steal, but if the steal goes down, if the steal just decides to be aggressive, diving the back line, they don't have too much on the back line to really stop that damage from coming out.
So the question then becomes, how do these objectives look, right? Because at this rate, we may be seeing a grouping around these objectives without any kills on board, but Survivor in a bad spot here is Toasty running him down. Blink comes through, trying to find the dash, and he finds the kill. First blood goes the way of Toasty on the Narbash. The support on support violence. As North comes in to make sure his support gets back out. Toasty, once again, put on a performance with the Narbash.
The Narbash being able to get the first blood. A little bit fortunate for the side of the Professors because it went towards the support. But nonetheless, the aggression coming out there, understanding he's able to get that kill. Argus did not able to turn out, but they were able to force down the Blinks out of that dual lane. So Kalari should be able to get a little bit more pressure when it comes to rotating back to that blue side.
Well, for his part, gonna pick up Cyan buff over here, get a little more XP. So far, DLAB having a good time across their lanes right now. It's not too explosive so far. Whereas we are beginning to approach the 10-minute point of the game, we're going to start looking at these Fang Teeth. Keep your eyes on that map. Soul Reaper taking rotation as well over this left side. I don't know how much opportunity he has here with Legionator and Toasty under the tower. Might just be a force of the wave under the tower to try to open up something on the map.
I mean, they might potentially be able to look at the Fang Tooth here if they're able to get that right. They're able to push it in, so now they have a little bit more time. There's still pressure in the mid lane, and undoubtedly they're going to probably be able to pressure this out. But with the early start that they have on this should be that first Fang Tooth going towards the Professors.
She's going to get back out without any problems. Looks like it. DLAB not quite fast enough to get there, and Appy Picker goes into the black hole. Crazy Pool does go down. No hits to Legionator. And North way too far up as Six picks up a kill. You said you wanted him active. And that will be Six getting active. 3 kills. The way of Professors in a very quick time span.
Oh, they played that perfectly. Got the pressure inside that dual lane. Faye was unable to get a gank off, so they were able to push it in. Six on the same side of the map. They already pushed up mid lane, and just being able to walk out together was the key important part of that fight. I mean, Appy Picker tried to get the black hole, tried to proc it through the walls, but unable to hit, and they're able to pick up that double kill there as a flash finally got up for the Faye.
The Professors feeling themselves not ones to let one loss bother them too deeply. They simply reset, come back with the full mental. And they're ready to play DLAB's game here. And Dirty Lake and the boys gotta be a little more careful around those objectives that they don't want to let this one slip back to the Professors. Because that's where they like to play. They're strongest around the objective fights, and already seen one go their way. It's a dangerous way to start the tail if DLAB wants to get to the final.
Definitely is, and with them getting that first Fang Tooth, getting that extra 50% on their big buffs, that's going to allow them to have a lot more pressure for longer periods of time, especially if they're trading throughout it. But I want to highlight the big man Steel himself. He hit level 6. This is where you're going to start to see when he roams, and he's going to roam pretty often, especially when they're trying to go for objectives, and he's going to be a big impact in those fights. And if DLAB is not able to capitalize by rotating and matching it with Lobber, it might be a tough time for the sides of them.
Absolutely, and really, Nitro's their only actual front line there. Six now starts up the mini prime as well. Lobber's in the area, does have awareness of this, or should be rotating as well, but it goes down very quickly. And again, an uncontested objective. Goes the way of Professors, gets them a little bit further ahead in this game. DLAB have to be very careful now.
I mean, that's the power of having the Argus as support. He's essentially a secondary mage. We talked about it last match, how that Particle Shredder is just able to just burn these objectives and allowing him to rotate. Wraith being able to be careful on the opposite side of the map, understanding support's not there, just allows him to get that early game pressure. And with Kalari, she's just an assassin, right? We talked about how she needs to get that early game advantage, and that's what she's trying to do. Get these neutral objectives, force them to try and contest to possibly get these picks. And great job right now by the Professors.
The question then becomes, what is the answer that DLAB should be looking at? They've lost 2 early objectives, but like we said, it's still early in the game. These 2 objectives are not by any means a game over. But they have to have an answer. They can't let too many more go. Is it time for them to start rotating Tosi out of this dual lane and try to match from these rotations? Oh, hang on. North coming on hot. Crazy Fool. Low health, but North even lower as 6 blasts through that health bar. Jumping up. Throw way back onto Lakeinator. He's putting the damage back out, but Toasty falls. No more front line for Lakeinator. This Kira just has to get out of dodge. 6 is showing you why he picks the Kalari.
Oh man, man, I almost want to bring this back up again. We talked about how the Argus can shut down North's aggression with the crunch, and as soon as he tries to initiate there, they just CC'd him to death to create some separation, and they were able to pick him off. So great job on hello, Appy Picker, getting one back on the board for DLAB.
That looks like a solo kill over there. Soul Reaper not able to do anything to Appy Picker, still almost entirely full health on that one. Should give them some opportunity here. Nitro very low under this tower, being aggressed on by Lobber, but 6 is here as well. Nice, just use the Colossal Blow to get himself some distance. Lobber should be able to survive this one. Very dangerous game that DLAB is playing.
Yeah, I mean, but look at this rotation coming out of DLAB, trying to capitalize.
Yeah, they're looking for Crazy Fool here. And the damage doesn't quite connect, but the meteor from the sky drops Crazy Fool down. DLAB finally getting back on the board here with just a little help from Appy Picker. This mid lane is crucial for DLAB right now.
Oh, it's crucial indeed. We're seeing that mobility coming out of Appy Picker on that Gideon, able to capitalize on that rotation. They tried the 3-man rotation towards duo. It didn't work, so they added another member to try and seal the deal. They only got the support there, but it's still a pick nonetheless, trying to get some gold into their pockets, trying to get the pressure back on that side of the map, because that second Feint Tooth is now there, and they need to get there on the side of DLAB.
Yeah, they need to get there because guess who's already there? Professors marking this one up. DLAB, I just don't see any way they get to this Feint Tooth in any reasonable amount of time to contest. This one is free for the Professors. Now, once again, I mean, DLAB is playing this one slow, and it seems like the exact opposite of what we saw in game 1, where they were the ones setting the pace of the game, putting the pressure onto the Professors, and saying, this is what we're doing, this is where we're fighting. You better like it. Instead, they lose Lakeinator here under the tier 1, and they get nothing back for it.
Oh, I mean, Lakeinator did not respect the Feint Tooth going down. Stayed a little bit too far up there to capitalize on it. They should know that the CC's there. Now, Appy Picker in a bad position here.
Very, very bad. Has to use the portal and the blink, but 6 is still right there with them. Black Hole comes through. The Wraith takes a long shot. I'm sorry, Soul Reaper takes a shot. Puts him down. They're still out of danger. North rotation trying to come through. He's taking a lot more damage. He's dishing back out. Lobber steps forward, but Soul Reaper finds another one. It's just a disaster across the board for DLAB. They're not able to find any of these kills they're looking for. Oh,
no, they're not indeed. And Lobber has to force the flash, but the damage is just insane as they look to pressure out this T1 here, Spooky.
They're going to put some pressure on it. Doesn't go down on that push, but a new wave coming in. Lobber sticking around. Might be a little risky, but Soul Reaper resetting. He should be A-okay, and they're going to hold that tier 1 for now. Still, gold is beginning to build and accrue in favor of the Professors, and DLAB still don't have a single objective to their name. They got that tier 1 tower down on the right side of the map. You're looking at neutrals, there's nothing in there.
No, nothing at all. Indeed, they need to come up with a plan to get themselves back on the board. They can't allow the Professors to get the third Feint Tooth. That just global buff for the rest of the game, I say this time and time again, is essentially another item. It allows for them to get defense and power without having to spend gold. And with that, they're going to be able to have a lot more pressure. And with the lead that they have, they just can't simply stand by on the side of Dirty Lake and the boys. They do have that T1 down, like previously stated, on the side of the off lane. This next Fangtooth, they're going to have to rotate Lauber. They're going to have to get him into position to be able to try and split apart their DPS.
If DLAB can keep this game scaling and get their front line engaged on these fights, they do have an advantage, but they can't be at too big of a deficit for this damage to just rip through them. Mini Prime is on board, something to be considered as well. DLAB maybe looking to group up around a little bit. We see rotations or some movement on that right side of the map. Nothing committing just yet. It's almost like they're just scouting, trying to see where the professors are. And Nitro is more than happy to introduce himself to North, who's getting blasted down. Tries to dash, but she cannot escape from 6. Gonna take that one down as the fight continues. Happy Picker goes into the black hole, trying to shred these health bars, but it's not enough. Lauber does put the Faye down to rest. Nitro making his way back to his team. He's okay for now. Low health bars. Toasty still wants a little bit more. Crash, bang, boom. Knocks him up. And Crazy Fool goes down. This is finally the fight the Dirty Lake is looking for. They've gotten 2 kills. Can they get anything off of it? Survivor still alive. 6 still alive. It's a 3v5 around the Mini Prime. They're more than happy to take this fight. DLAB waiting for them to step up.
I mean, they just executed that very well. North got picked out, but unfortunately that left a split fight towards the side of Professors. They had to try and get there, and Lauber did what he needed to do. He focused down the Faye. She's one of their primary damage dealers. Able to separate them there in that fight was so crucial. There's a lot of vision on there as well on that side of the map. Just allowed Kalari not to be able to sneak up on any of their damage dealers.
Uh-oh, Lauber now might be in some trouble. He gets rewound. Doesn't have the dash, and 6 picks up the kill. Couldn't find his way back out. Stayed just a little too far forward on that recall attempt. He ends up paying the price. He can't be lazy back in there.
No, you cannot, but Soul Reaper can't be staying here either.
North on the hunt. He's the one with the Mini Prime. He's going to take the kill. Nitro comes over the top. Puts North very low, but North is still alive.
Ooh.
Crazy Fool finds the shot and trades it out. Mid for the jungler.
Oh my god, he threaded the needle on that one because you saw the rest of DLAB try to body block it, but Crazy Fool is him and he's able to secure that kill. That is a huge pickup because now they don't have their jungler to contest this third Fangtooth for a little bit, and it's going to have to be careful on the side of DLAB. They can, yes, look to control the pit, but with the jungler down, all the advantage goes towards Professors.
DLAB is there, but they know they cannot afford to try to start this because they don't have the secure. Instead, waiting for the Professors to move in towards that pit, and they're looking to collapse. Survivor may be the target here. Taking a little bit of damage, but not too much. Nitro throws up a wall. He's getting low himself, but still sticking around in this fight. So Reaper rejoins to throw the damage out and make sure DLAB doesn't press too far forward. And now North, back up, back in the pit. Do have secure potential, but they gotta be aware of 6 on this Kalari. For a way around this, and they do finally secure an objective for themselves. Black Hole comes down. Survivor very low, with Soul Reaper even lower as he gets removed from the fight. Nitro trying to find a way back out. It's going to be a disengagement from DLAB. They're not looking to chase too many. Focusing on Nitro, see if they can get that one last kill their way. This might take a little bit too long for it to be worthwhile. They recognize it. Take a step back.
I mean, man, they were able to get back into the control of the pit there. Great job sticking together around that Narbash. Him being able to utilize that thunk, capitalize on anything, they're still able to do that damage, right? And we're 20 minutes in. That Narbash healing and sustain is insane right now. And the fact that they're able to group up and just maintain the discipline on not trying to force too many things allowed them to get there back on the board with the neutral objective and stop the Professors from getting the third Fangtooth.
DLAB has been quiet in this game, but they've had these moments where they flare up and they just find such good fights. Question is, how many more of those can they do? When is the tipping point for them to just start getting active and put the pressure on? We've mentioned that they like the late game. They want to scale up, get their tanks online, make sure that the Professors can't just walk through them and absorb that damage. Where's the break point? Where's the tipping point for Dirty Lake and the boys to say, we're done being passive, we're done responding, now we make the plays?
I mean, it is now, right? These big objectives are now into play. When they come up, they're just going to be ready to go. We have the big orb primordial here in a couple minutes, and decisions are going to have to be made. You're going to need to be able to put Lauber into that position. He's on that comfort character. He knows how to play Sevarog better than anybody else. And you see him just being able to get into these fights and change the outcome. Now DLAB is in a favorable position, getting down that mid T1, opening up the map a little bit more on their side of the things. But hey, now it is that time.
We'll have to see how they decide to play these next few minutes. They are crucial in this game. For both sides, truly. DLAB wants to make this a quick 2-0 and secure themselves a spot in the finals. The Professors want to reverse this, put themselves on the board, and set up the reverse sweep for themselves here. DLAB's in a precarious position, but this game, despite the objectives that have gone down, despite how some of these fights have looked, this is a very close game. And I'm not really in a position to say I favor either team at this point. It all comes down to these next objectives and how they decide to play them. Position of the map may be around this orb pit.
Yes, indeed. It's definitely still a close game. A little bit of a kill lead on the side of the Professors. But if they make a mistake, like Lauber, they're trying to get initiation off, might cost them that. And they need to be careful of that fly trap. Faye is one of the best of team fighters when it comes to, if she's able to get that ult off on your damage dealers in the back line, it changes that fight so much. So they need to be careful on their groupings. They need to keep that distance, and they need to wait for Lauber to be able to get a good initiation off.
And speaking of Lauber, he's being aggressed on right now. Nitro tries to jump on him. Doesn't quite connect, and Lauber's able to survive for right now. Should put DLAB in a good position. You can look for a counter engagement somewhere, but currently, North is happy to just keep on farming up and try to get to the point where he remains relevant. He's had a lot of trouble in this game so far, getting into fights and then staying in them. It's been a lot of engagements from North, and then North being immediately shredded and blown up.
Yeah, I mean, he's just unable to find something, right? They're able to just get countered by the Argus. Every time he tries to gank dual lane, he tries to get a little bit of pressure on the mid because Faye is probably his best target, but at the same time, Six is there to try and retaliate every single time he's counter ganking. The real game changer here in this match is Lauber. You saw that the fact that as soon as he's able to rotate and get into these fights, everything swung into their favor. And if they keep that up, this might be a game going towards the side of DLAB once again, because Lauber, full stacks, is a crazy Sevarog.
Well, they are now all in position around this orb pit by waiting for someone to step forward, but I don't think they realize they are very well aware of where DLAB is at. Professor's not going to walk into that particular trap on a ward. That might be some damage coming their way. Now instead they're going to run forward at the Professors. Not going to find too much here though. Instead they just pull back into their jungle. Need to stay grouped as 5. Is Nitro charged in, looking at Lakeinator and Happy Picker. Doesn't find too much. Soul Reaper getting bounced around the back end. Happy Picker comes over the top with a black hole, putting out so much damage. Soul Reaper though, still barely alive, hanging in there but not for long. North punches him down, and Nitro tries to find a way back out, but Six is the one that goes down. The Professors have been routed. Nitro's still somehow alive. The Six goes right into North, and Happy Picker is not going to let him stick around. The Professors take a hard loss in that fight. Survivor is the shining grace of their team, able to put 2 back down, making it a 3 for 2. Still in favor of DLAB. That means no Orb Prime goes down.
Oh my, ladies and gentlemen, we got a game on our hands. Man, the initiation coming out of the Professors were tight and spot on, but the black hole and the colossal bowl to break up the damage dealers in the back line, focusing that fade down, was just so crucial there. And I'm going to say it again. Lauber is on point. He is playing the game he needs to play, and he's just that factor, and he's the one really making these fights go that way.
Yeah, Soul Reaper getting blown up into the air so quickly in that fight. pretty much entirely removed at the start, was a massive boon for Dirty Lake and the boys. But now, the game has shifted somewhat. We can't be looking at that Orb Prime. Now there's a Fangtooth on the board, and wow, that's some damage. Toasty is gone in a heartbeat. That's why you target the Fae. Now this opens up the Primal Fangtooth quite a bit for the Professors. A 4v5 is exactly what they're looking for.
Oh, they were able to get the sustain that keeps them alive in these fights. So that's a huge and crucial pickup. And here they're looking for another one.
Or a bad spot. He's going to charge on forward. Globber in the area as well. Dappy Picker drops the whole right top of them all. Damage comes through and 3 go down for the Professors. 6 answers back, but Dappy Picker still alive and he trades him out. Crazy Fool goes down, and Soul Reaper, the last one alive, but he can't stay alive. Lakeinator and Lobber clean up this fight, and the Primal still stands.
No, man, every single time you feel like the Professors are taking control, Dirty Lake and the boys, or I should say Dirty Lobber and the boys, say they have a different answer. They were able to pick up the sustain there. They took out the Narbash in the beginning, but they were not done yet. They were not going to allow for a free pickup. And here, we see them take that advantage to the Orb Prime.
Got 4 strong on the board, and just in time, the 5th one comes up north. Going to be reaping the rewards of this Prime going down. There's just no way the Professors get here in time to stop it. It's going to take them a minute, but they may be able to get over to the Primal Fangtooth. No, scratch that. Professors do not have an easy answer on this one. And I think it's a lot harder to fight around the Primal Fangtooth when the guys you're fighting against have 5 stacked Orb Prime on them.
Yeah, it's going to be crucial, but with the aggression, they're going to get comfortable here. We've seen how crucial the Black Hole is to these fights. Lobber able to set up the big pick off the Colossal Ball, grouping everybody up. And every time they get a kind of counter engage on top with the Black Hole and just sets themselves up for just the absolute greatest position. And then you just have Lakeinator in the back just free casting and Lobber protecting that president, and they're able to win these fights. But still, the Professors have to contest this Primordial Fangtooth, or they're going to be double buffed up, and it's going to be a hard defense for them.
DLAB playing this one slow, though. They know they don't really have any vision on the Professors, and they don't want to start this Fangtooth without knowing. So Lobber's just going to say, hey, guys, let's go find them. Dashes forward, doesn't quite find the roof, though. North has found Nitro, has to blast Seed right back up to safety. DLAB just pushing the Professors away, moving their way back to this Fangtooth. With some vision down this time to see where the Professors are lying in wait. So Reaper causes some damage over the wall. Stuns come through. Actually, a lot of damage goes out onto Lakeinator. Let's be very careful. They're going to pull back. Use this healing to stay safe on things.
Oh, man. I mean, that's just a great kind of decision for the Professors because they want to stop them from being able to commit. Able to get Lakeinator down that low with a Kalari on the map, you don't want that. But they have so much sustain with the Orb Prime and the Narbash. They're going to have to keep this up, and they're going to have to wait and bide their time.
They're going to go right on up, looking for any opportunity to get active. North juggle around, and Lakeinator's already taken out Soul Reaper. North being low, though, trying to answer back. Nitro drops a little bit of damage back out, but Dappy Picker's not able to do a whole lot in that Black Hole. And it does take out Survivor TV. Nitro very low, finds a way back out of this fight. So split are the Professors in this entire engagement. I mean, I don't know what the defense was there. 6 was looking for the flank, but ended up a little too far away to actually help.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Kalari being able to pick up Lakeinator there was huge, but the fact that DLAB was able to pick up Faye so quick was just monumental for this side of DLAB. And now they have this advantage going towards the Primordial Fangtooth. And it's going to have to come down to try and find another way to stop it as they're trying to look for the steal.
I know 6 are here. Lobber a lot of the tankiness, but they don't have this gear up for the shred. Instead, they're going to turn around, look for the fight. 6 jumps up, but has to fall back down. The Black Hole comes up again to put another member down. Happy's very low, though, and Crazy Fool finds the kill. Now rotating back in. The Bangtooth is still pulled, and it's gonna go down. It goes to DLAB, but can they get back out? The health bars are not looking great. Lobber low, Lobber down. They have to pull back out. Lakeinator is up and alive. Toasty runs his way back out. Have to be careful, Lakeinator. I don't like the pathing he's taking to get active on this. He's looking for Nitro. He puts him down. He's going to be able to get back out. Nitro was by himself. That's one more for DLAB.
Professors playing for their right to go forward, man. And I mean, oh my goodness, these teams are battling it out here today, ladies and gents, because man, what a play coming out of them, able to at least pick up some kills to get the Primordial Fangtooth off 3 members. Yes, Toasty still has it, and the Kiro with Lakeinator, but that's not enough for them to really get a lot of pressure out. And with this game so close, I think this is still anybody's game.
Anybody's game indeed. Like, all of these objective fights have been so close, and they've been so extended. That was basically 3 fights in one, F6. We saw people die, respawn, come back in, die again. And it's like, it just feels so tense from both sides. Neither wants to give any round to the other. And it's leading to these extended engagements where they're struggling to really clean things up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a struggle, right? Because we can see like, hey, we can say like they're making mistakes, right? But at the same time, these competitors play at such a high level where any small amount is a small mistake, and they're able to capitalize on any small amount of mistakes on both sides. And that is what you're seeing here today. And I mean, when it comes down to Professors and DLAB, these are 2 teams that have been playing against each other since the dawn of competitive Predecessor. And this is what you should expect. They're able to know what each other are doing, and that is how they're playing right now. They're trying to find the slightest of a bigger mistake to happen, but it's never around the time of the objectives. So they're able to keep trading throughout. Just the amount of pressure coming from these both teams are insane.
Another tower taken down. It's the Dirty Lake and the boys. We can just pressure these lane objectives. Try to give themselves some kind of advantage. Make it harder for the Professors to rotate the objectives. They need a little bit more gold in their pockets. It's a little bit more of an advantage. That's really what it comes down to, right? It's like you said, these teams make such small mistakes or so few mistakes that you have to just try to force an advantage yourself. You can't be waiting for the other team to mess up. Lake and the boys, it took their time, but they're starting to find some footing here. We need to group up once again around this Orb Prime Pit. 6, rotating as well. Just be careful not to get caught.
Yeah, he does not want to be the one to cause that mistake for his team. A lot of members are still waiting on that level 16 to get that 3rd point into their ult. It's really going to start to change here. I mean, Crazy Fool has been doing a really great job being able to put damage out on top of that back line from a distance with that obliterate. And I mean, if they're able to get that down packed, Kalari being able to blow up Lakeinator quick, and if they're able to keep Soul Reaper alive just for a little bit longer in these fights, I think this fight goes inside the Professors. But they need to stop the big man Lobber. Fully stacked up. I mean, at this point, he's probably almost max stacks the way he's playing this game today. And they should be able to come out on top. But if Lobber still be able to be strong, it's going to be going the way of DLAB.
And now DLAB is all grouped up around this objective. Just waiting behind the walls, waiting for someone to step forward. We've seen this once before. Didn't work out. Not going to work out this time either. But Toasty's going to go straight on forward because Lobber's got a rotation. Flytrap pulls him back away from the Professors. Now the damage coming back out. North very low, has to try to find a way out, but Crazy Fool finds the snipe. And that's a 1-for-0. The pick is in favor of the Professors. And that means they're going to look to get aggressive now. Moving forward. 6 under stealth. Hunting for a backliner. Nitro goes up and down. Lakeinator has to find a way back out. And the Happy Picker is gone from the fight. That's a massive amount of damage. A 3-man colossal blow. But there's no follow-up. Lobber is doing his here, but I don't think it's gonna be enough. Toasty jumps on forward and is able to find one more as Lakeinator rejoins the fight. Shots coming through. Nitro is the target for the ADC, and Toasty wants to say he can take Soul Reaper once more. Crazy Fool goes down, and Nitro trying to find a way back to his mid laner to help keep him alive, but Toasty's healing is so good. Thunk connects, and here comes Lakeinator. He finds the last shot, puts the Faye back down. That is nearly a full wipe in favor of Dirty Lake and the boys after a disastrous start.
Oh man, the professors had it. They picked off North. They were able to keep the pressure on. A huge shield slam in the back line, forcing the blink out, but Appy Picker getting the black hole and the colossal blow at the end. Big man Lauber able to impact the fight for another time, just allowed for them to survive. And this game is just still continuing to go on.
Hitting 3 people, buying so much space. Now, DLAB have the opportunity to go on this Orb Prime. Only Nitro was left alive. 6, Survivor, and Crazy all have come back up. They've just respawned. They have to make the trip all the way from the base. I don't think, no, they do not get there in time. Orb Prime goes down, and look at who it's around F6. DLAB is spawned up and ready for the fight too.
But we've seen this time and time again, Spooky, the objective fights. They keep trading one for the other. They try and contest. They get the picks. They turn the fight, and it's just never ending. One of these teams need to be able to close out this game. We're about to hit our 37-minute mark, and at any point, if anybody goes down, these timers are going to be huge.
We're not even looking at the Fang Cube at this point. DLAB, they want the towers gone. They want the inhibitors gone. They're going to take these enhanced minions straight down that mid lane, put some pressure down, and they're going to tell the professors exactly where they're going to play. They're not going to give 6 too much room here to be sneaky. You can see them lurking off to the side there, waiting for a chance to go in and flank, to try to pick off a backliner. But the opportunity, it just isn't there.
Not quite yet, but they're going to be looking for it. Lauber at the front lines, Toasty in the back. They're trying to get this inhibitor down and find that pick potential.
Lauber gonna dash forward towards Survivor, knocks him back towards the rest of the team as Soul Reaper getting aggressed on by North, and Lakeinator takes out Soul Reaper. DLAB and maybe found a way to break the defense and move forward. The black hole puts the chances of Professor's wins on the event horizon. Sucks it on in. Now things are looking very dangerous for the Professors. Survivor and Crazy Fool have to be a crazy Survivor right now to win this game. All 5 of DLAB step forward, and the core, it cannot survive the onslaught. Dirty Lake and the boys take the Professors out, ruin the win streak, and they're moving to the finals.
They have done the task that nobody has been able to do all tournament. Dirty Lake and the boys close it out in a clean sweep of 2-0 against the #1 seed here today in our first semifinals. And what a 2-game series we have today.
Truly an impressive performance from both sides on this. Dirty Lake and the boys consistently struggle against the Professors, but today they rewrite history. They take the win back, and in a very convincing fashion. Like you said, F6 2-0 is something to be proud of against potentially one of their greatest rivals. F6, I think they've heard enough from you and I. I think the desk would like to break this one down and tell it how it all went down.
Thank you so much, F6 and Spooky Mars, Dirty Lake, and the boys. I'm back with Grady and Moogie. We're here to break down game number 2. It seemed like North was just constantly getting shut down, in the beginning there, but they just know how to fight together as a team. Both of these teams know their limits. They have the chemistry and the harmony to work together to take down towers, but it's DLAB who can take down your core. Grady, I'm gonna start with you. What were the main highlights from that game number 2?
I mean, DLAB just played those fights effortlessly. Like that, sure, profs were getting picked, or they were picking some of the DLAB members. But whenever it came to the fights, whether it was 4v5 or 5v5, the amazing black holes, colossal blow combos, Lobber's initiations that game were absolutely spectacular, and the way that DLAB were turning the fights was great. Plus, Lakeinator, very smart player, understood that he was the option in every single one of those fights. He knew that props wanted to take him out first. He played very safe, forced them to overcommit, and his team was able to turn in a spectacular fashion.
And Mugi, what happened? What went wrong for the professors there? How did DLAB secure that kill or game?
Well, I feel like Professor started like pretty strong after that failed attempt at the first Fangtus by DLAB, and they started to kind of roll with the game because they have a very like damage heavy comp. But here I feel like DLAB, like I said, like probably PC7 can be their PCC, and they kind of show it because they managed to slow the game down, get some good fights, and so Professor keep trying to make stuff happen, but they didn't find this way to actually like break that synergy from DLAB. We've seen like some very good combo, crazy full on the Argus, finding like some good pickup, but then DLAB always playing smart, always finding some good counter engage, and they were just like too strong and they never find like the solution on the side of Professors.
And DLAB just coming out on top and taking that semifinal, securing a spot in the grand finals. But we had to pick one out of the players from DLAB today. We actually have someone we're going to be interviewing and getting into their head. Please join me in welcoming Lakeinator.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, Lakeinator. The Predecessor community is just hyped up because we just watched you guys absolutely kill it in both games 1 and 2. I'm going to start off with the question, how are you feeling right now?
Oh, the boys are hyped. If you know the history of us and the Professors, we haven't won a single scrim set against them. We took games off them, but I always say we show up on tournament day and we really plan for all their drafts. And like I said, game 1, they pretty much walked right into the exact draft we expected. Game 2, we knew it was a bit unorthodox, but we kind of pulled through. So,
Grady, you can go ahead and ask Laken.
All right, as your former teammate, former team captain, how big is that ego today, baby?
oh,
How big is the ego, Nader?
We are a super ego. We are undefeated with Lobber. I am just going to throw that out there. We had issues during the group stages with the internet or with power in Canada. But once Lobber joined the team, we haven't lost since. So that's our motto pulling through. We're gonna be undefeated with Lobber. Like everyone popped off. Everyone had key defining play moments. Like everyone. It's actually insane. We popped off on that game, on those sets.
You guys played
And
lights
Mugi.
out. Kudos to you guys. Good job.
So my question will be like, how it feels after like all those hardship, after like staying kind of with the team for so long, like where like you truly believed, I think, that as a team you can go far, and how it feels to finally like see all of that clicking, because you really looked super sharp and super in sync with everyone.
So a lot of that comes into just commitment. We scrim the profs every week, and every week we feel we're getting better. We're getting better. Maybe when we first started, we're like, oh, we can't even contest these guys. But week by week, we kept getting more knowledge, more experience, more understanding how to play the game. We just reviewed the games, the fought reviewed, understand their drafts. And since we played them a lot, we also know each other's what we like to play, what they like to play. So it comes a bit of a mind game. So every week we just knew we got better and better. And then it came to a point where like, we're better than these guys. We know we're better than these guys in every lane. We just got to play like a team. One thing profs do well is play like a team, and we said we have to play like the profs and how they team. We all think we're individually better than them. They're really great players. I love them. I love hanging out with them. We play games together all the time, so it's nothing but love for those guys, but we individually think that we had everything to beat them. So
GG's and congratulations, Lakeinator. You and your team secure a spot in the grand finals. Before we say goodbye to you, any message to the community or the PCC, maybe your fans?
I don't know who I have as fans out there, but anyone that watches my streams, I can, Egonator. You never know. It's on the rise. It ain't over yet, though. There's still one more set to go, and then we see who we face in the finals. But we are riding this high. We are very confident. We feel like we can pull through this. We feel like this is DLAB's tournament. We'll see what happens, but we'll keep pulling through. But honestly, also like to want to thank all of you guys, the casters, the production. It's amazing. We love it. We love the effort you guys put in. It's actually insane. It feels, even though it's community made, it literally feels like high quality production from like an actual sponsored company event. So once again, I appreciate everyone, all the supporters. Like I said, GG to the profs. Like, they're really great players, really strong guys. Like, I think me and the profs are the best teams out there right now. So we think that was the finals. Unfortunately, it just the way it went. We think that was the finals, but like I said, there's always next tournament, right? So
Definitely did
Anyways.
feel like a finals too. Yeah, thank you so much, Lakeinator. We'll see you in the grand finals.
sounds good.
Now we're back here at the desk. What a game, or what a series, shall we say. But don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because our next best of 3 series in our semifinals, we have the Chefs versus Indecisive coming right at you. We will be right back.